Hello and welcome to this session. This is Professor Farhat, in which we will discuss fringe benefits. What are fringe benefits? Well, they are cash equivalent compensation. Hello and welcome to this session in which we will discuss the taxation of fringe benefit, or the lack of for that matter. But what are fringe benefits? Fringe benefits are non-cash or cash equivalent compensation provided by an employer in addition to regular wages. In the prior session, we looked at employee compensation, and we talked about salaries, bonuses, commission. In this session, we would look at other form of compensation, which is called fringe benefits. Those are non-cash, because we're going to see once it's cash, well, it's treated as cash, right? And cash equivalent compensation. The first thing I want you to come to mind when we talk about fringe benefit, obviously that's not the only thing, is the coffee maker at your office. So there's a coffee maker, you can go in and sip a cup of coffee without paying for it. Think of this as a fringe benefit. It's a benefit, it's a non-cash, you work there, you can enjoy the coffee basically in quote for free. And this is what we're looking at. We're looking at some benefits that are non-cash. You don't see them in your paycheck, but you enjoy them. So the fringe benefits represent a critical intersection between some sort of compensation planning and tax law. Why? Because when we are looking at fringe benefits, specifically we're looking from the EA exam or the CPA exam perspective, our concern is to answer one question. Is the employee receiving an economic value? If the answer is yes, should that economic value be taxed? And this is what we'll try to figure out, whether these fringe benefits are taxable. So from a planning perspective, from the employer perspective, what's the employer perspective? Why would the employer put a coffee machine at the office? Well, because they want to deliver the maximum value to employees while minimizing income tax exposure, payroll tax exposure, and reducing administrative burden. So that's the overall idea. So from the employee, the benefit is you're getting some compensation, some sort of a value without being taxed on it. From the employer perspective, we're providing value and we're minimizing our own tax exposure. So let's discuss the various rules and the various types of fringe benefits. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, farhatlectures.com. You are here because you are serious about mastering taxation. Whether you are taking a tax course, studying for the CPA exam, or enrolled agent, tax feels overwhelming, not because it's impossible, but because it's dense, detailed, and often taught at a pace that doesn't match the way you learn. The rules can feel disconnected, and the logic isn't always explained clearly. At Farhat Lectures, we slow it down. We explain the why behind the rules, break concept into simple steps, and rebuild your understanding from the ground up without assuming any prior knowledge. When explanation matches your learning, everything changes. The confusion fades, the rules start to connect, and tax becomes manageable. If you are ready to understand tax with clarity and confidence, start your free trial at farhatlectures.com and let's build your tax foundation together. The core rule, hopefully we know this, all compensation is taxable unless it is excluded by law. And this is the default rule under the tax law. Salaries are taxable, bonuses, commission. When it comes to fringe benefits, it's taxable as well unless it's excluded. So we have to look at what is excluded. Starting with the type of fringe benefits, we could have one type of them. It's called working condition fringe benefit. A working condition is an employer provided property or service that would be deductible by the employee as a business expense if the employee paid for it personally. What does that mean? It means as an employee, if you have to pay for this benefit, if you have to pay for this item, you would have been able to deduct this item. But now the employer is giving it to you. If the employer is giving it to you, it should not be taxable to you, because if you paid for it, you were able to deducted. So what are examples of those working condition fringe benefits? We're looking at professional subscription, job-related education, business use of employer provided equipment, business use, job-related professional certification for your work. Let's be more specific. Let's assume the employer pays for job-related CPE, continuous professional education, or a professional subscription used in the employer current work. So your employer paying for this because you need it for work. Well, guess what? You're using it. You're using those CPEs. They're benefiting you. If you leave work, you still have to get your CPE. But since you are working and it's part of your job, they're paying for it. So because you would be able to deduct it regardless, if you have to pay for it, it's generally not taxable if it meets working condition fringe rules. In other words, if you paid for it, you would have been able to deduct it. Since they paid for it, it should not be taxable to you. So working condition fringe benefits, as long as they meet those rules, then they are not taxable. Then we have the de minimis benefit. That's another type of fringe benefit. De minimis means small value exception. Those are benefits in so small in value and provided not as frequent, so infrequent that accounting for them would be unreasonable or administratively impractical. What are we looking at here? We're looking at occasional coffee or snacks, holiday turkey or ham, occasional supper meal or taxi fare for overtime work. That's perfectly fine. But keep in mind, if you give the employee any cash or cash equivalent items, those are not de minimis rules. So if you gave them the cash to go buy the coffee, that's it. It's no longer de minimis. It becomes taxable. Any gift card are taxable, even if the dollar amount is small. So gift card, taxable. Even $2, it's taxable. You gave them $2 in cash, it's taxable. There is some snacks in the break room, that's fine. So monthly donuts in the break room, not taxable. Gift card to employees, taxable wages. Let's talk about no additional cost services. That's another fringe benefits. What are those? Think about when we have some goods or service that we sell to customers. An employee can use this service without creating substantial additional cost to the employer. That's why we call them no additional cost. So this exclusion applies when the employer provides a service it normally sells to customers and the employee use does not create substantial cost. So when the employee uses the service, there's no additional cost. The classic example is airline employee flying standby. What does that mean? Let's assume you work for an airline company, Delta Airline or United or American Airline. What you can do, you can go and wait by the gate. And if the plane is not full, they might give you a discount or they might give you a free flight to wherever you are heading. That is a service that they're providing you, but there's no additional cost because the seat is empty. Whether you travel or not, you're not taking the revenue from the company. So that's what we mean by at no additional cost. So employees may receive discounts on qualified goods or services sold in the employer lines of business. Yes, they might give you a discount, but you have to be very careful. How much is the discount? The discount is limited to the employer gross profit percentage. So they can sell it to you at cost. So if they buy something for $10, they sell it for $18. As long as they sell it for $10, it's good. They're selling it to you at cost. Services, it's limited to 20% of the customer price. So if we go back here, and if they're charging the customer $1,000, they can reduce yours to $800. I just gave you the example up there to kind of tell you what does it mean at no additional cost. But exclusion for services is limited to 20% of the customer price. So remember, cash always taxable, gift card always taxable. It's basically cash. Property/services may be excluded. How about entertainment and meals? The Post-Tax Cuts and Jobs Act Entertainment expenses are generally not deductible to the employer. Meals may be deductible in some cases, often at 50%, but the deduction depends on the fact and the applicable exceptions. Yeah, it has to be about a business meeting, who was there, what was discussed. You have to keep that. So employee tax exempt. Office holiday party or employee picnic, generally not taxable to employee. That's fine. Personal entertainment or luxury sporting tickets given as compensation, those are taxable. So compensation means you are giving them something instead of paying them cash. It's compensation. So an office party, not taxable. Luxury sporting tickets, taxable. Think from that perspective. How about transportation benefits? Some companies, what they do, they give you some additional money for parking or for transportation. Where I used to work, when I was working in the CPA industry, I used to work in downtown Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and they would give me, if I remember, $200 a month, and I'll be able to park and walk from the parking lot to the office because there was no place to park. Well, those are qualified transportation fringe benefits. They include qualified parking, transit passes, commuter highway vehicle transportation. Now for 2026, the monthly exclusion limit, and when we put a year, it means this number could change in 27, 28, it doesn't matter. Look at the update numbers. Qualified parking is $340 per month. So they can give you up to this amount. Transit, commuter highway vehicle benefit, $340 a month. Any amount that they give you above this amount cannot be excluded from income, and it's taxable. Remember, fringe benefits, the benefit of them, you get the benefit, and it's not taxable. Remember about move-in expenses. Move-in expense reimbursement are generally not excludable except for certain active military members, and we have a whole session about move-in expenses. Now let's talk about payroll implication, because if they're giving you benefit as part of your compensation, how about the payroll? Many excluded fringe benefits are also exempt from payroll taxes, but not always. You have to remember, we have to analyze it whether it's subject to federal, Social Security, or Medicare. So never assume that if something is excluded from gross income, it means it's not subject to payroll tax purposes. And this is a list of fringe benefits or any type of benefit, and they're telling you whether it's included in income and whether it's subject to Social Security and Medicare. For example, here, cash bonus, any cash is a form of compensation. They withheld tax and it's subject to Social Security. Gift card and any cash equivalent gift, of course, just like cash, yes, for income tax, yes, for social security, always taxable compensation. And obviously cash bonus is just like regular wages. Then we go down to the de minimis benefit, coffee, occasional snacks, income tax withholding, no, Social Security withholding, no, exclude if small and infrequent. Working condition fringe benefit, not subject to income tax, not subject to Social Security. Excluded if business related, would be deductible if employee paid for it. So this is a list. This is a list of fringe benefits. You want to be familiar with it. Now I have here some like S corporation items. We're going to cover those in a separate recording. S corporation and C corporation items. But you want to be familiar with this list. For example, off-site gym membership, just like if they're paying you the money, it's subject to income tax, subject to Social Security. If the company has a gym on-premise athletic facility, you can use it, no income tax withheld, no Social Security, it's excluded. And as I mentioned, more specific S and C corporation fringe benefits will be covered in separate recording when we cover the S corporation. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. An employee receives the following benefit: coffee provided daily, $50 gift card, employer paid health insurance. What amount is taxable? Is it all the items, the value of the coffee only, the $50, or none? What is the coffee provided daily? That's a fringe benefits. That's perfectly fine. It's not taxable, so we can take the coffee out. So all the item is out and the coffee is out. How about employer paid health insurance and a $50 health gift card? The employer paid health insurance, if the employer paid for it, it's not taxable. It's not taxable. What's left is the $50 gift card. Is the $50 gift card taxable? Yes, the $50 gift card, as if they're giving you $50 in cash, it is taxable. But the employer paid health insurance, it is a fringe benefit, and it's excluded. Now you want to make sure you are familiar with fringe benefits, what's included, what's taxable, what's not taxable, and when it comes to taxes, what's subject to Social Security and withholding, and what is not. It's not always the same rule. Now, whether you are a CPA exam candidate, enrolled agent, accounting student, what I'm going to tell you is this: the best investment you can make is invest in yourself. Go to Farhat Lectures, look at additional resources, lectures, multiple choice exercises, true, false, AI tools to help you succeed. Don't shortchange yourself. Your success depends on you, and God bless.